Yeah, dude, there comes a point where it kind of starts.
Thanks. Leveling it up, leveling it up, leveling it up. Let me just some test runs. 1 2 1 2. Do we want to test it?
1 2 1 2 test.
This is gonna be our mic test today.
Yeah, we on?
Oh yeah, we're definitely on. We're definitely on. All right, 3 2 1. Hey everybody, my name is Alex. You are watching the ZX Show this bright and early in the morning, and I have a special guest today. And one of the guests that I wanted to bring on the show for a long time. Even when I first started the show, I thought about, man, I wanted this guy on the show, man. And he's just been a chill guy up here on the campus. His name is Damian. How are you doing, Damian?
I'm doing fantastic on this beautiful morning. How are you doing today,
beautiful
Alex?
morning, man. All
Yes,
right,
sir.
so first of all, introduce yourself. What do you do, and your reason why you're being here in Illinois Media School?
All right, so my full name is Damian Dembicki. I grew up in the northwest suburbs, born in Chicago, moved out to the suburbs when I was a kid. And I'm first generation here. My family's from overseas. And I'm at Illinois Media School right now because I want to be getting into media production, content creation, and want to go down more of the creative route in life. I feel like growing up, I went through business school. That was my major in college. I was a marketing major in college. Worked in sales, family business after school, then was in real estate for the past 5 years. And definitely enjoyed doing those things. But the more that I've spent time thinking about and reflecting about what I really want to do with my life, the more I've realized I want to go down a route of creativity and do something that I actually resonate with, as opposed to just finding a job that makes ends meet and going through my life that way. So I'm here to basically take a different route in my life and really see where I could take my life in that direction.
Nice. And what point did it hit you where it's like, man, I can't do this anymore? Because I had the similar thing where I was working at construction for a lot, right? And
yeah, I feel
the
that.
less creative thing you can do is not do anything creative. Because like for me, like I used to do HVAC, so I used to do heating and cooling. So I used to do this. I used to tell people like I can't get creative at work because if I mix up the wires,
no, yeah, there's no playing games with.
It's gonna burn up the house, right? So I always
your last
tell people,
HVAC wiring.
Exactly. I always tell people that creativity, like if you don't push it, is gonna kill you inside because the more and more you want to be creative and the less of that you're determined to do and the more work you put yourself on that you're not really enjoying, it becomes this thing where you have this struggle where, man, I want to do this, but it's like, yo, it's either financially I can't do this or mentally I can't do this, or it's like I got my own personal issues that I can't even afford to, lose to that.
To move into that.
Yeah. So what was that for you? Like what kind of click where it's like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be more creative. I want to go into more creative space.
Man, so kind of bouncing off of something that you just started off with, you talked about the trades, and I really resonate with the trades because my family, like being from Poland and just Poland and Ukraine and everything, trades are huge. Everybody that comes over from overseas, at least like family that I have, they all got into the trades. My dad was in the trades, my uncles were in the trade, and it was all like, that's just the type of work that people found themselves doing overseas. And when they came here, same type of work. And that's a lot of what I grew up with. And what I noticed with that work, like since a kid, is it's not necessarily, are you doing this to be to be happy? It's more so coming from like the survival mindset where it's like you can make a very good income in the trades, you could provide for your family, like you can make an absolute killing in the trades, like move your body and everything, but it does take a toll on your mental health, it does take a toll on your body, and like the older you get, it definitely hits you. And as I've gotten older, I've also seen people in my family, like their bodies just start to deteriorate, and like you really see it regardless of trade, whether it's carpentry, electrician, especially like let's say mason work, landscape, anything that's really heavy on the body, you really start to see, like, as people get older, it's hurting their soul. But at the end of the day, I was always blessed that my parents worked so damn hard to like take care of me and give me this opportunity. And so coming from that kind of survival mindset and being here, I almost felt obligated, where it's like, man, my parents went through all this stuff. Like, they came from Poland my dad was 21, my mom was 20 when they left Poland. Then they moved to Germany for 2 years before they got their visas. And so they left Poland in 87, went to, so it was like right around the fall of the Soviet Union around that time. So it's like a lot of stuff changing across Europe. And Poland was communist back in the day as well. So they were kind of leaving a communist country where you couldn't really do much. You either had to work for the Communist Party to get somewhere, or both my parents came on farms, like grew up on farms in the middle of nowhere, Poland. So they had like the option of, you either stay as farmers in the middle of nowhere and just continue the life that your parents gave you, or you leave
and you migrate.
And you migrate and stuff. And so my dad was like, I don't see a future with this. And he did like construction engineering in school, like basically learning how to build in architectural school and all that stuff. But then he looked at it, it's like, I just don't see my future being in this country. So he met my mom, and then he's like, listen, I want to go to the United States. Ended up coming here. So they kind of, going back to what I was saying, went to Germany in 87, were there for 2 years, got their visas, then came to the States in 89, and then got into the trades. Like, my mom was working fast food. My dad was working carpeting, and then other types of construction as well. And kind of fast forward, and I was born in 97, and my family started their own business making food, like pierogies, actually. Oh, yeah. So it's like they kind of took the recipes that they grew up with on the farm. Yeah.
Dude, that's
and like,
awesome.
And so, but it started as a deli first. And the thing about that is, delis are not profitable, at all. It's like, if you know anything about like the grocery business, like your margins are 1% to 2%, maybe, And so it's like, and I'm sure there's people make better margins and stuff, but like if they really sat down and did like the numbers back then, like when I talked to my parents, they didn't really know, like they didn't do the research.
It was
kind of just like
set
set it up, So they kind of just And my dad talks about this all the time, but he's like, they ended up getting a loan pretty much, or not a loan, but signed a lease for 5 years on a building. They could only get a 5-year lease on the building. They open up a deli, and then they realize, like, man, they're barely breaking even.
I'm
like,
gonna say there's barely anything in there.
There's, and so my dad was still working the trades and everything, and then they got to a point where they started making pierogies and selling them during lunch, and then they realized, like, this is the only thing that's really, like, turning a profit here.
Dude, that's awesome. Side hustling while you do
your
day job.
and so
Your mom's probably in the back like, yo, here.
Yeah, they're just cooking these pierogies out, you feel me? And so there comes a point where they look at it and they're like, the deli's just not profitable. We might as well go full time into making pierogies. And then that business started to just roll out over time. But even my dad said it's like first like 5 years they were making still no money and stuff, because you're paying off the lease, you're trying to make investments in a business, you make something, you're instantly reinvesting.
You're just making the time for the bills, not time for like
exactly
else.
And so my dad's like, he gets to a point, like both my parents, not just my dad and stuff, but they get to a point where they're like, man, 5 years into this, if we were working trades, we would have saved X amount of money, so much more money than like a business where it feels like you're just spinning circles and going nowhere with it, And so I grew up with this mentality of like, my parents never really told me what I should do with my life, like, but I saw them get up crazy early in the morning. Like my dad would get up at 2:33 in the morning, like my entire lifetime, and so
yeah, dude, because like with me, I resonate with that so much, because my dad and my mom were kind of in the same boat, where my dad came from Mexico and immigrated here, like in the I guess in like the 90s, 80s, and he met my mom here, right? And at first he told me like he had nothing. And think about it, only Spanish, no English. It was hard. Not bad for your parents. It was
100, same
100%,
thing. Yeah,
like
no Google Translate, no nothing.
AI. Like it was just crazy back then. And I used to think back like, wow, how did my dad do this? And then he would tell me stories like, oh, he had to work this amount of hours just to make this much. And then my uncles already had granite here, business granite, I do granite business as well. I got into it because my dad.
Yeah.
But when my dad came in here, he told me, I think he was like 18, 17 years old, and he had to leave his parents. He came alone.
Yeah.
And to him to migrate here, cross the border, then jump over here, and then, fast forward to now, I think back like, dude, the amount of sacrifice that my parents did just for me to be creative. You know what I mean? Like
exactly where I was
hits
getting
me a lot of
to.
times. I thought about one night where I'm like, dude, like the whole reason I'm doing this, the whole reason I'm in front of the camera, the whole reason why you're even here, and all of us mostly, is that our parents or someone was like, yo, you can do this.
Yeah.
And I appreciate all parents, really, like any immigrants that really brought their kid here and gave them a better future, and then gave them a better understanding of life, and then having them just have the ability to just be creative, because a lot of them are not even, you see it right now, a lot of them don't even have that blessing right now. Right? And so when you grew up, when you were starting to grow up with your parents and when you were born, right? And what was something that, and you say you took that from them, the mindset of like, yo, I just need to do this because my parents did that, right?
Yeah.
When did it hit you? Because it hit me when I was a little older, but when did it hit you when you realized like, man, my parents really just did everything for me, and I gotta go full throttle with this?
Man, I think my whole life, like, it's always been very apparent, because I also grew up, eventually, like, my parents brought my grandparents over from overseas, and so they were, like, my parents would work a lot, and my grandparents were at home all the time, and so getting that advice from older individuals too really helped shape my appreciation for like the things that I had in my life. And so when how to put this, like, when did it hit me? I don't know. I think I was just always surrounded by it my entire life, and like seeing all the struggle that my family went through, like I think there's almost a certain sense of guilt that I grew up with, because it's like comparing my life to what my parents went through or what my grandparents went through, it's like it's a walk in the park in this country. And it hurts my soul sometimes, because when I do get caught up in my emotions and my mind and, man, I want this and I want that, I'm like, they didn't even have a choice to be like, hey, do you want to have fun? Do you want to go to this sports game? Do you want to go and like get this? You got Netflix, you got this, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, we got so many things here that can make us happy, that without that like perspective of like, it could be not it could be worse, but like
It could be
you
gone.
like it could be gone. You could not have these things.
Yeah.
Like you really have that appreciation for what you have, but like man, when did it hit me? I don't know. I don't know, dude. It's as far as like I guess what really comes to my mind is the opportunity of the fact that I can do something, because in the past I used to look at it as like, man, my family has always been like struggling to provide and struggling to make something happen. Like I need to do the same thing my parents did. But then my dad always told me growing up, he's like, listen to older folks, listen to people who are approaching the end of their
Yeah.
lives, because they will give
Exactly.
you 60, 70, 80 years of experience and dish it to you with no hesitation
No
of like
hesitation.
what's really important in life. And I've been around a lot of people that have passed away, like a lot of folks. And the things that they've always told me, like what I could sum it up to, is it's always a foregone experience of what they wish they would have done. I've had a few people tell me, yeah, like I wish I would have made more money, but it's solely for paying medical expenses. That's it. Everything
Yeah,
else
dude.
was always, I wish I would have taken that job. I wish I would have moved. I wish I would have spent more time with my kids. I wish I would have taken that girl out on a date. It was always, I wish I would have experienced something. And so I think somewhere along that path of being around people who are like, you know, you see someone one day they're gone the next. They give you this lesson, like it hit me like, damn,
Dude.
my parents went through this and they did all this stuff for me. I'll be damned if I don't take an opportunity to try and live a better life. Like if they went through all this, why wouldn't I try and at least do something with my life that is like isn't the same that everybody else has been doing? If I have this opportunity and I got relatives looking down on me and stuff, like you gotta take that
Oh,
opportunity. when
dude, you gotta
got
take
it,
that
you know?
opportunity.
And so
Because, like, here's the thing: like, in that case, it's like people trying to bring you down, but like, yo, like, you can't do this.
yeah,
That's something that
Yeah.
like I hate hearing. Like when I was like doing this thing and I was like coming up doing my own thing, one of the worst things people would have told me was like, oh, you're too young. Oh,
Yeah.
why are you working so hard? Oh, why
Yeah.
why you got bags on your eyes? And I'm told because I want my parents to be happy, and to retire, and then
Yeah.
when I retire, I'm okay, and I could let my parents be okay, because my parents, I want to have the opportunity to give my parents a life where even when it may seem to them too late, they can do whatever they want, because one, they're financially backed up. They don't have to financially
Yeah.
back me up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And growing up with like parents like that, the hardest part is like the emotional part of understanding that, damn, my mom couldn't do this, my dad couldn't do
No,
this.
yeah, and
Dude,
it hurts the soul
it hurts the
differently,
soul
you know?
different. And then
Yeah.
when you know, when you get in a fight with them or you get in an argument, at the time you don't think about it, but it's almost like, man, like I was so hard on myself for arguing with my mom or dad, because I'm like, man, I'm over here, you know, arguing about me wanting to go to my friend's house, or me wanting to go to this party and I couldn't, or I'm
Yeah.
arguing about, you know, not having something that other kids have. Whole time they don't have it, and they're just trying to provide what I wanted, you know. And I think that's the biggest thing that hits my heart is those type of parents are always gonna do whatever they can to provide for their kid and
Yeah.
make them live under the illusion that they have everything. You know what I mean? And that's something that I came to understand about my parents, because as they got older and as I got older with them, you know, conversations became a little bit more real. Conversations became a little bit more like, hey, son, I'm struggling with this, or mentally I'm
Yeah.
struggling with this, and hey, son, like, da 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 da. As you get older, you start to realize that now is my time to take care of them. You know, they took care of me. They really did their best. I'm a grown man now. Let me take care of them.
Yeah.
You know, and I always tell my mom I love you. I always tell my dad I love you. And the only thing I say is thank you for giving me the life that most kids don't have, because
Amen,
those
bro.
same kids, like, especially right now, what's going on in like the world, you know, those kids are dying every day. You know what I mean? And parents are dying every day, right?
Yeah.
And one thing you did say that really resonated with me was listening to older folks, right? I've been around like same thing. I've been around people that passed away in front of me or around me, and they always given me so much experience. That's why at 21, I feel like I have a body of a 6-year-old, or a mindset of a
Yeah, I
6-year-old,
feel you.
because because of the knowledge that was passed down for me, either to my family or people that I've met and advised me around throughout my life, you know. And you know, and like you said, when you sum it up to the bare bones, it's almost, and I heard the same thing where it's like, I wish I could do this, I wish I can do that.
Yeah.
And that scares me, bro.
Yeah.
And that scares me because I don't want to live in my life saying I wish I could have done this.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
When you know you're at that stage right now where you damn well could.
I damn
just
well could.
do it.
Exactly. You have. I tell people you have the people in here in the school. You have the resources.
Mm-hmm.
You have the mindset. You have the body. You have the young like energy. Use it, bro. Use it.
Straight up, when you really sum it down, like I guess you could call it like immigrant mode in a certain way. Like,
mode, dude.
like no, straight up. Because when I learned from my parents, they're like, you got a roof over your head, you got food on the table, you got water. You don't need anything else, you know. A place to sleep, like you can get to it. Like straight up, you got a phone. Guess what? You got access to the internet. Like you have no excuse not to produce something. Because it's like sometimes we get caught up. Oh, I need this. I need these nice headphones. I need this nice camera. I need that. Like you really don't.
You really don't.
You have. It's really comes. Excuse me. It really comes down to how creative you are with what you have and stuff. And like.
Dude.
Like my grandpa used to tell me like when they just got a television for the first time, like a black and white television, they were like staring at it. And I think my mom or my dad, I forget which side of the family, but like one of my I think like great grandma or great grandpa, they used to like run up to the TV and look behind the TV and wonder like, why are there people in this box? You know, like where did these folks come from? And they could never like wrap their brain around the fact that something was getting straight up televised to the middle of nowhere. You know, like where are these weird people talking in this box show up from? They're like,
why is the three little stupid?
Yeah,
why these three little
just
stitches coming
running
from?
around. You know, and so like to think about where it came from that to like where we are now, where it's just like you got access to everything and stuff. It's like you got all the opportunity in front of you. You just gotta like, I think what really stops us at the end of the day is just fear of ourselves, fear of judgment, fear of something. Sometimes, like at least I look at my life, I don't even know what I'm afraid of half the time. You just look at it and like try to figure out, but you're just paralyzed in fear. And so that's what I'm also trying to work on in my life is how do I move through these things that aren't even necessarily like real fears. It's like
in there.
It's just in my brain.
Exactly.
You know, it's just in my brain. And I feel like if we can move through that and find love and comfort in who we are as individuals, then everything starts to make its way known and you can move forward with that, you know.
And that comes with a lot of pressure, like in your mindset as well. Like what I came to realize as like having parents like that and having that mindset and knowing what my parents are going through and knowing what I want to go through, knowing what I want. What was like, and this is a question I always ask myself. How do you deal with the mental pressure of knowing that responsibility is on your shoulder and knowing that you have to also be responsible for that responsibility? And one of the key things I tell myself, I ask people is, if you're in a creative space, and you have parents like that and you have this life and everything, you're really responsible for your own happiness. Because 100%. At the end of the day, like when you're being that creative, it's kind of hard to take people's advice sometimes from outside, because when it comes to your just creativity, your work of art, it's hard. It's hard to like dissect somebody else's advice. So you kind of have to be responsible for your own happiness at that point. So my question to you is like, what was it like having that pressure on you and on your shoulder? And what were some of the moments where, like, how did you decompress from that?
Man, that's a multifaceted question. Decompression we could talk about, because there's definitely positive ways you could decompress and there's negative ways you could decompress. But as far as how did I handle that pressure, I think I'm going to break it down into two parts. When I was a kid, I used to carry that stress in me and that pressure like way too high, where I'm like, damn, all this happened for me to be here. I need to do something. I need like just put so much stress and pressure on the fact that I need to produce something given this opportunity. Now that I'm older, like 27 and approaching that
Unk stage?
Yeah, unk stage. Big bro stage. Unk stage. We're not unk stage yet. But now I'm starting to look at it differently, where I think it really comes down to your mindset and your perspective on certain things. Is you could choose it to look at it as a stressful situation, because that's the definition that you assign to that in your brain. But on the flip side, you could look at it as, like, I look at a lot of the ways that we think, or they're just wired habits, and the first step is understanding why you think the way that you do. Do you think the way that you do because of your parents, because of the media that you watch, like all these things put together create the way that we think, experiences that we've been through, things we've learned, things we've seen, things we've gone through. And I think step one is like understanding those things and bringing it to the forefront of your brain and not trying to suppress who you are as an individual. Then I think from that point I started to realize, once I started to really navigate the ways that my brain was thinking, I started looking at it as, why can't I assign a positive meaning to these things? Meaning, if I have the ability to do these things, look at it as a joy instead of stressing out about it. Be like, man, I get to go to school and I get to be around all these beautiful souls and I get to create something, and look at it as I'm just expressing my God-given soul to the world, and that's a blessing at the end of the day. There shouldn't be nothing stressful about that, because there's something inside all of us, something that you can't see but is clearly there, that I think that when you start tapping into that energy and letting that energy out, you like, there have been times in my life where I start entering a flow state and the words just start coming out naturally, and you take the stress off of you and it just starts feeling like it's pouring out. And I think that the more I navigate and resonate with that type of thinking, the easier it all gets, where it's not stressful anymore. It's kind of like, wow, I'm sitting here with another beautiful soul and other beautiful souls in this room, and we get to talk and share our experience, and that's a beautiful thing. There ain't nothing stressful about that.
And I think that's something that I like. Oh, dude, I try to tell myself every day, like, yo, I'm just happy to just breathe, bro.
Straight out taking a breath, just
breathe, bro. Like
got that
dude,
oxygen,
and then because like I look at like sometimes people don't pay attention, but I pay attention when I drive and I look around my surroundings. I look at the people that are walking by. Man, I'm lucky I got a right arm that's working well. I'm lucky I got legs that able to run and walk. I'm lucky that I'm able to have all these features, and then I'm blessed with it, because a lot of times I look at it, it's like, nah, like people are blessed like me, and I take advantage of that. And I tell you, hey, God, thank you, first of all, for giving me everything I have, and help those that don't have everything that I have. Because me is like, if I have a ball of energy of joy and happiness, I will throw it out and I'll spread it out. Because to me, it's that I want, in my delusional world of utopia, is I want everyone to be happy, even if their lives aren't as happy as they should be. Because I've seen people go through so much. I've seen people that have been through hell, and they like, I have examples that have, been through a lot of mental struggles, people that wanted to kill themselves, people that wanted to be gone. And they'll tell me the reason I'll stop. And there's one person that told me the reason why I stopped was because I realized that this world is bigger than me. My family's bigger than me. And I need to stay on this earth because it would be a disgrace to people that can breathe, to people that can walk, people that can do all these other things. He learned how to appreciate life through the own struggles that he was going through. And I think that was something that, like, it kind of resonated with me, because when you step out of your own trauma and you look at it and you just try to find the little things that can make you happy, it gets hard at first. It does get hard, because it's like, where do I go? Where do I pinpoint this thing? Where do I start from one point to one point A to point B? Do I start from even looking at what type of happiness I got? And then that's when you dumb it down to the little things, And so my other question is, looking at the positives in life, what were some negatives? If you're welcome to share, what were some of the negatives that happened in your life that you had to look at it that way?
So going off of everything that you just said too, I think there's also sometimes I feel like in life here, there's a lack of appreciation for like the tough things that we go through. And like, I'm going to explain this in a second, but especially people who are really going through a lot, whether it's just trauma, things happen to them, they've seen certain things, they have disabilities, whatever it is, like they've gone through an immense amount of pain and experienced an immense amount of pain. I think those souls are the most enlightened, for the sole fact that when you really start to look at that and sit with this energy of like, these people have gone through it, the greater capacity that you can understand, I guess, the darkness, you have a greater capacity to also show love and empathy. And when you look at it in that sense, that it's like these people whoever, I think every soul goes through their own experience and lives their own life and understands pain and sadness and those emotions in their own way. The more you sit with them, the more it's like you could almost show love and appreciation for that. It's like, because it's like, for example, when you're going through something really negative, right? It sucks going through it. It's so bitter.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you want to do everything you can to get out of that energetic state. But then once you eventually move out of that, whether it takes hours, days, years, whatever it is, once you move out of that state and you're in a place where you make sense of it, then you're like, I'm really thankful I went through that because now I understand. Like, and then when you see other people going through it, you could be loving towards them, where it's like, let's say you do see somebody being really hateful or sour and stuff. You remember a time in your life where you were in that place, and it's really difficult to give love when you're in a place that's not in a loving state, you know. Then you could also show empathy for them, be like, man, I know, like in the Bible you have the quote, forgive them for they know not what they do.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
and I think when people are hurt, they don't know what they're doing, or maybe they do know what they're doing, but the pain is so strong they haven't learned how to love it enough for it to flip for them, so where they could really hit people with love. But as far as my life, like, there have been a lot of stuff. There, addiction, just friends going through closest, like, suicide pretty much, and family members going through addiction, family members passing away because of it. Like, so much pain that I would see going on in people's lives. And the biggest thing that I would learn from those situations is, especially people that ended their lives because of it, they never actually opened up about the pain or came to terms with the things that they were dealing with. Like, especially a lot of Eastern Europeans, they deal with alcoholism, and like alcohol is a huge problem in where my family's from. And when I look at some of the people that have really struggled with that, it's very intelligent people who are almost so aware of everything and emotions and stuff, but they just never knew how to, like, bring this stuff forward, or they were never they were too afraid to let people know, hey, this is what I'm actually dealing with. Like, it's too tough to actually bring it forward. And because of that, they stayed in that state and never wanted to, like, confront that stuff. And now that I'm older, I'm looking at all addictions, or whether it's working addiction where you're always keeping yourself distracted, drinking, smoking, nicotine, relationships. Like, at the end of the day, all those things, I think people, they just want to feel better.
Yeah, dude.
Like, the summation of that. They just want to feel better.
Exactly. No, because I had my family, same thing. It was struggle with alcoholism, and there's a joke, like, Mexicans get drunk, but the dark story of that is that they get drunk, but it's like, I see my uncles behind closed doors out there a good while. You know, I've seen them after the parties, right? Yeah. And it's not. It's a different conversation.
It's a different conversation.
It's not a pretty scene. Like, and that's what something I kind of, like, worry about with people on social media, or people that, like, are throwing it out there but not actually asking for help. Yeah. You know, because I've seen a lot of people on social media just like, yo, like, I'm drinking, and you see them all, you know, just boom, 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 and it's like, I would sometimes want to see what's behind that screen and what they're going through mentally, you know, because 100%. Alcoholism and you know, and having that a struggle or an addiction and all that. When I learned from my uncles, or I learned from, like, seeing them, was that, dude, they're just doing this because they're running away from some pain they had, right? Trauma from their past. Maybe their fathers and mothers were terrible to them when they were growing up as a kid. Maybe they had, like, the bad influence. And the thing about, and I'm pretty sure it's for you, is it's that macho toughness where, oh yeah, whatever, I'm good. You just need this, I'm gone, boom, boom, boom.
Which what you need is love, but you don't see it at that point.
See it like that. They don't see it like that. And I think that's why I appreciate you, and I appreciate myself, understanding that, and really being like, you know what, when I get older, when I have my kids, I won't have to put them through that. And I also teach them, like, hey, if you're going through something, come talk to me. Yeah. Let me know what's going on. I'm your parent. I'm here to provide for you. I'm also here to help you. As a friend, even to you, I'm here whenever you need me as well. You know what I mean? And it's something that I tell people a lot is talk to someone. The whole show was based around that. It was talk to someone. Because at the end of the day, you don't lose nothing from telling someone I'm going through something. Yeah. You don't lose anything. Your pride is not gonna go away. Your ego is not gonna go away. The only thing that's gonna go away is the pain that you're going through, and you gain the love back in your heart to then open more. That's why I honestly applaud people that go to AA meetings, people that go through all these things to get rid of their addictions or to get rid of suicidal thoughts or just to mentally better themselves, right? Because at the end of the day, like I tell people, you are loved. Rather if it's me behind this screen, you are loved. Anybody that's watching here, you're loved. You're loved. He's loved. She's loved. When I came here, it was like when I started to get to know you guys and I started to see you guys, one thing that always tells me to keep coming here is the fact that I love you guys. The fact that I will always be there for you guys. The fact that I'll always be there for you no matter what. Even if you don't know me like that. Even if okay, cool, like, oh, he just works here. No, he doesn't work here. I love every single individual here because I know that at the end of the day, I would rather you cry in my arms than you crying in nowhere, in your own room or whatever, alone. Because again, when you're alone, it hits different. It hits different when you're going through that because there's no one to give you that love, like you said. There's no one to hug you. There's no one to comfort you. There's no one to empathize with you. And when you feel like there's no one there, it's a struggle. It's a struggle, and you get thoughts of ending it. You get thoughts of like no one loves me. You get thoughts of like and one person told me that's what the enemy loves, when you know your struggle and you're too afraid to just tell anybody. But I always pray for people to just open up and talk to someone, talk to anybody, or talk to yourself. Tell yourself, hey, what's wrong with me? What's going on?
Yeah, and to take that deeper too. Also, something that you said too about a friend. I think it was like Patty, the UFC fighter and stuff. Patty, he was talking. He's like, I'd rather have my homie cry to me than me cry at his funeral, pretty much and stuff. And it was somewhere along the lines of that. But going into what you were saying, I think a big part of it too is like definitely open up. But where I'm at in my path of kind of understanding this, because I think it's an ongoing process. I look at the world as infinite. You're always going to be on this ongoing journey of understanding the duality of what it means to be human, and love and fear, and these two things that we're balancing in ourselves and trying to understand. But a big thing too is I believe like taking responsibility for these things, like whether trauma, whether even if it was somebody that did something to you, taking responsibility for who you are. And obviously there's different situations in this world. I can't speak for everybody's experiences, because I understand some people go through some horrific things in this world that like in this lifetime, like I haven't gone through, so I could only speak for my experience at the end of the day. But what I've learned is that when I take responsibility for it, you can't blame that person. You can't blame your parents. You can't blame an ex. You can't blame a random person on the internet and stuff. You have to look at it as like, this pain is within me. It's internal. And you can't solve an internal problem by pushing it onto external factors, is how I see it. Whatever it is. And then I also believe you can't change that which you do not own. And so working with those emotions, what I've learned is when I actually take responsibility for it, it's like, man, I feel not happy, but that's nobody's fault. That's mine. Exactly. It's nobody's fault but mine. This is within me. So if it's within me, I have to now take the time to understand what is actually making me sad, and kind of going deeper into it. What we were talking about before is like trauma in my life. I definitely would go to other things in my life to try and deal with those things, to feel better about it, like drinking, smoking, nicotine, all these different things to just not feel that. But now, especially recently in my life, I've been really messing around with being completely sober, and thank you. And like the longer I spend in it, the longer I'm just like, I'm getting really comfortable with it, where it's like, yeah, you could feel this sadness, but guess what? You're human. It's all right to feel sad. Exactly. Guess what? It's like like you ever see a movie sad as hell, but you get to the end of it, you're like, man, what a beautiful movie.
Yeah, because the story was beautiful.
Yeah, you might be bawling your eyes out.
The Beautiful Boy, bro. The Beautiful Boy. You ever watched The Beautiful Boy? That was actually one of the movies that I was like, damn, it's so sad. But then at the end, it's like, okay,
man, yeah, cool. No, that's like the Green Mile for me.
Oh, I
don't know if you ever seen the Green Mile. That thing had
oh my god, the Green Mile
had me losing myself and stuff. But I think that's what makes this life so beautiful is like, because if you spent all the time in happiness, you'd have no appreciation of it. And I think that when you do go through these parts where you're sad or you're struggling or you're going through it, it's like you get to watch the character of a movie like get absolutely destroyed by life. And then that's what makes the movie so good is like if you had, let's say, like a character in a movie and they started at the top, there is no build up, there is no growth, there's no overcoming. And I think like with movies it makes so much sense, but the second we feel it in our lives and we feel that pain within us, all of a sudden you get folded and then you're like, I can't do anything, you know. We just revert to all these things that we know aren't going to solve it, but we're trying to use them to solve these things. And so now I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, I don't want to be running from these emotions and stuff. If I'm sad, that's fine. I'll be sad for a couple days. That's all right.
Exactly.
We're gonna cook some.
I'll deal with it. I'll sit there with my ice cream. You know what I mean?
I'll cook some eggs, make some bacon,
right? And that's beautiful too. Like
stare out the
doing
window, you know.
On the side actually helps out too. Like me, like I'm sad, bro. I'm whipping up the game. I won't go online, but I'm whipping up the game, bro. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Start
Like
talking to some people,
dude. It's funny when I say funny when I say, but when I was going through it, I would try to play fighting games, but
really take it out on the.
Hold on. My biggest thing was I used to play online, so when I was getting my ass whooped, I was like, nah.
You just start throwing an absolute fit.
Oh, this made it worse. No, but you know what? But I think that's so beautiful because it's like even older generations will tell you like it's the ups and downs of life.
100%. No,
and then when you get to that age where you're like, you know what? I went through my ups and downs. I may go through some ups and downs here and there, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like. And I appreciate you doing it now because when you get older, when we get older, it's gonna be easier.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be like, I'm sad. All right, cool. Let me go out, do some dinner, play basketball. Let me go out to the park. Da, da, da. I think that's what I try to practice because, like you, I try to stay away from addictions. Try away from smoking mainly. And what I did was I distracted myself. I went to the park. I went to play around with my friends. I went to do all these other things, and I go back to this episode. I don't know if you ever heard of BoJack Horseman.
I've heard of him, but I don't know too much.
Oh man, you gotta watch the show. So in BoJack Horseman, there's this big ass hamster that's talking to these guys, and he goes, you know, I'm responsible for my own happiness. And the girl was like, well, isn't that selfish? And she's like, no, because at the end of the day, I would rather be happy than to be surrounded by people pretending to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what I kind of took because I walked away from a lot of people. I walked away from a lot of situations because I understand that I had to be responsible for my own happiness, and that extends, right? That sentence alone that I tell myself extends because if I see that addictions are rising more, I have to be responsible for that. I'm like, okay, cool, boom, I gotta take that out because I got to be responsible for my own happiness, and I think that's something that people don't realize is that when you're doing that, you're taking that away because now you're just relying on substances and everything else to back you up on your happiness. But in the day, it has to be you. It has to be you because then when the alcohol runs out of your body or when you come down from a high or the nicotine's not hitting much and you run out of juice or whatever, it gets to the point where it's like, damn, dude, like.
Yeah,
you kind of just stuck there, like in that void, in the gulag. You know what I mean,
dude? You're fighting for your way out, dude. No, dude, that's what me and my roommate called self-induced adversity. Is like all these substances and stuff. Because what I learned too is like I don't look at substances in a negative way. I look at it all things neutrally. Now, I don't think it's positive or negative. It's just simply it is what it is. It's the meaning that you assign it. So I started looking at these things because I think when you start shaming yourself for, man, I've been drinking, or man, I've been smoking, or man, I've been making these, guess what? That's a negative loop. And then you're going to hit that negative point again. What are you going to do? You're going to go back to drinking and this. And so shame and guilt, at least in my life, I've learned ain't going to take you to a good place and stuff. So what I look at this stuff is, okay, let me actually look at what this is doing for me. Like, let's look at the full cycle. Like, let's say nicotine, you know, you hit a vape, you smoke a cigarette, whatever it is. Yeah, you feel good for 5 minutes. How do you feel for 20 minutes after that?
Yeah, dude.
All of a sudden, your brain kind of like, you have your little bump, and then you're kind of not feeling too hot after. And then if you really take into account all of it, I kind of just look at it logically like, yeah, I feel good for a little bit, but I actually feel worse at the end of it. So it's like if I'm really trying to actually feel better, maybe, just maybe, that isn't the solution to it. And I started realizing like my soul, for whatever reason, is just craving peace more. It's craving more of like, I want to just flow through life, and I don't want to I also don't want to feel like I need something to just like feel better. I just want to allow what's within me to come out naturally. I also will look at it as like, man, how could I be a kid and be so damn happy about certain things? I didn't drink and smoke back then. You just wake up, you'd be excited to go play, and you'd be excited to go see family, go see friends, go explore in this world. I'm like, what's the difference between me being a kid and me being now? Obviously I'm older, the body's changed and you're maturing and all that stuff, but the same soul still resides within the body. You know, you've just learned more. And so it's like, learn from your younger self is how I would look at it, is like, take that inner child, bring them now, and if that kid could have fun back then, that kid is still within you. We're like trees, like that inner ring is still there, it's at the core of you. So it's like, bring that forward and allow it. And hell, if you want to drink, if you want to smoke, if you want to do these things, you want relationships that makes you happy, do the things that make you happy. You feel me? I really believe that people should pursue the things that bring them joy. Right. But I also encourage people to look at like, what is bringing you actual joy, and not just like anxiety masked as like, oh, like I really like nicotine because it makes me feel better. Like, maybe. Yeah,
it's maybe it's like a wolf, you know, under the sheep. You know what I mean? Like you're killing yourself at the end of the day. Like, even though like you may come out at like, oh, this is just helping me, or oh, I'm just only doing this right now because, you know, I'm a little stressed, or oh, I just need to take the edge off. It's like, yeah, but it's also like, you getting like, if people actually see you outside your car going out of work, or outside your school, or outside of you, it's not like that. Yeah, and you know it's not like that.
And I have to share this too, because I spent a year down in Florida, and this year, like, I think I was like 2022, 2023 when I was living down in Florida. I went there and I basically spent a year almost like entirely. Come on. I almost spent a year like entirely alone down there, where it was like, it was really necessary to just step away. I felt like I had to get out of the reality that I was living in at that point. And because I just had so much stuff going in my mind, I feel like I just had to get away from what I knew to be true. And so in this like year that I was living down in Florida, like a lot of stuff happened to me, a lot of things I witnessed down there that like definitely changed my perspective. But there was a point where I saw a therapist down there, and they gave me a perspective that really changed my life, because I was struggling with it. I moved to a different state, and I'd find myself still smoking and still like using these things to try and solve how I was feeling on the inside.
I think that amplified more because you're alone,
because
dude.
Now here's the thing, is like, there is no blaming other people. It's like, not only tell you, but you cannot put it on anybody else. When you're sitting alone in an apartment, you have no one to blame but yourself when you look in the mirror. And so I sat there and I'm like, man, I need to take responsibility for the things going inside my brain, because if I'm unhappy, this is now entirely on me. There's not a single soul I could put it onto. And so I see this individual, his name's Hayden. He's over in Tampa, and this man, he's like, you ever see he's like a dog do something wrong? And what does the dog do when they do something wrong, or they think they're in trouble and stuff? They won't look at you. They'll hide, and they'll turn the other way and stuff. He's like, you know why they do that? And I'm looking at him like, no, I can't really tell you why. And so his explanation for it was, the dog believes that if they don't see it, there's no danger. And so they're looking away from it. And he's like, addiction is very similar to that, where you could have an ongoing problem in your life. Right. And then when you take a substance or engage in an activity, whatever it may be, you no longer feel that sadness. And since you don't feel it, you don't see it. And your brain thinks it's no longer there. And so he's like, what you're trying to do is you're just trying to turn away from your problems, and you don't want to actually face them. But it doesn't mean that they're not there. And when you become aware of the fact that they're still there, even though you feel better temporarily, you realize nothing's actually being solved. You're just simply turning away from it temporarily. And that flipped my brain to a point where I was like, that makes so much sense to me. I don't know why, but I was just like a dog who did something wrong. You know, like, I did something wrong. And then I'm just turning away from it. Like, I'm not trying to get, beat by my owner or something, and so just because I don't see it. Or somebody like that. Yeah, and so I wouldn't say for the first time, but like I started becoming much more conscious of like, hey, let's say I would smoke or something, but then I would really start thinking about my problems instead of not thinking about them. Yeah. And all of a sudden now I'm like, this thing ain't doing it anymore. Like, cause I'm really thinking about this thing now, you know?
$5.
Straight up. And so I realized, I'm like, well, this is no longer a solution and stuff. And so I started really working on things to just be like, okay, like just because I don't feel it doesn't mean the problem's not there. So let's start addressing the problem, and also not only addressing the problem, but start focusing on things that will actually move my soul into a new place where, like, solving it is definitely a matter of perspective. Like, I don't know if there really is solving. I think there's just simply coming to peace with it. You're not gonna change it, but your perspective of it changes, and then that's when you can't change the past, but I think you could rewrite the story of how you see it.
And I think I think that's what, like, I tell people too. It's like, okay, you can go to a therapist, okay, you can go and see someone to help you out with this thing, but part of it also is, like we said before, being responsible. Part of it is also like you having to then be at peace with it. There's no solution to it. There's no like, oh, if I go to therapy, I'm gonna just stop drinking. No, it's you have to become peace to it. You know, I watch The Bear a lot, and like I see like the guy Jeremy go to his AA meeting over and over, and as time progresses, he'll stay quiet. But then as time progresses, he'll actually start speaking up.
Yeah.
He spoke about his struggle, spoke about his dead brother, he spoke about his addictions and all that. I think that's where it comes to the point where you have to be at peace with it. Because if you don't be at peace with it, it's always gonna be in the back of your head like, yo, I need to do this, you know, and then I need to go through it again, because really you're not gonna solve everything by just saying like, okay, I'll stop.
Yeah.
You can't just say like, okay, I'll stop, because it's hard. It's harder than what it's said, and people make it real like, oh, I can stop any. I don't listen to people that always say, oh, I can stop whenever I want, because it's common.
And like going off that too is like you also can't eliminate it too, in the sense that sometimes people, okay, throw out the cigarettes, throw out this, throw out the bottles. Like if you don't see it, it's not going to be there. Guess what? You're never going to eliminate it. It will always be a potential path that you could take. Guess what? Every gas station you go to, every place,
gas station,
it's everything.
And all that.
It's always around us and stuff. But what I realized is the most powerful thing you have is the power of choice.
Right.
All paths exist from that place. You could always choose the yin or you could choose the yang, and all those possibilities that exist between that. But that's actually the most beautiful thing, because you are powerful divine being at that point. You can choose anything. That's like the free will of it. It's not just like take this and then this is no longer an option for your life. Guess what? If you want to go do these, if you want to go drink, go out with friends, and you enjoy that, choose that reality. But if something in your soul is telling you you're ready for a different reality, the beautiful thing is you have the strength to also choose that reality, and there's nothing stopping you. And that's the beauty of it. It's like you realize you're actually free. Like you really can choose. Like, let's go. Lock in and choose. You just got to know what you want. I think we just don't know what we want half the time. What we really, really want. You know.
That's beautiful, brother. That's beautiful. One thing I like, before we even go, one thing I always tell people is, and I got this from a show, is be a goldfish. Be a goldfish, because what the memory span of a goldfish is 5 seconds. After those 5 seconds, boom, it's back to being normal.
Interesting. That's the first time I'm hearing that.
I always tell people, be a goldfish. Because at the end of the day, okay, it happened. Be a goldfish. Let it happen. Let it sit for those 5 seconds. And then move on. Keep swimming.
Yeah. Just keep swimming. Exactly.
Keep swimming. And then to the point where you end it, and to the end of the life where you're done swimming. And then, but you know that you went through all this beautiful journey. There's ups and downs, the highs and lows. And at the end of the day, I tell people this. I want to one day just wake up for the final time and just say, thank you, God. Thank everyone for being in my life. And I'm blessed to be where I'm at. Now it's time to be at the final piece. Because I went through all this. I'm going to be done, and I'm going to be at peace. Final time. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, and that's why I listen to so many other people than myself, is because they're almost at that point. They're almost at that final piece in their life. And then their advice I always take with me till I end up, going up there, So before we go, first of all, thank you, brother, for being a guest. This was awesome.
I appreciate
brother. You. Anything you wanted to say to the audience before we go? Any advice? People are going through something mentally, or like what we were talking about. Any advice in general?
My biggest piece that I'm going to leave with on this pod cast on this specific session is that there's no such thing as being off the path. You're going to realize one day that you've always been on the right path. You've always been on the very path that you were supposed to be on, no, regardless of your perspective on it. The path that you are on is the path that you are on, and there's no such thing as I should have been on a different path. No, you've always been on the path, and that's it.
No, exactly.
So love yourself and keep enjoying that path, and find yourself amongst that. It's a beautiful mystery.
And I want to say one thing, and I want to just ask you one thing if you could do this. Because we spoke about our parents in the beginning. Is there any message you want to give to your parents? And I'll clip it for you to show it to your parents. But is anything you want to say to your parents? Because in the beginning, it really hit me because what you were saying is also what I was going through. And is there anything you want to say to your parents before we leave?
I am who I am because of my parents, and I love them beyond what words could describe, and that love is eternal. And I can never put into words how much my parents actually mean to me, but I am where I am because of them, and life is beautiful, and I'm blessed to have been able to share my life up until this point with my parents, and I hope that continues and stuff. But mom, dad, mama, tata, I love you guys always. Yeah.
Well, that has been Damian, you guys. This has been a DXL. First of all, shout out to people in the back right here. They've been amazing. She showed up late. But I am just full of joy to just keep having these guests, keep having these people and different opinions. And this is one of the guys where I know we just had amazing talk. We even went a whole hour almost just talking. And so thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for watching the stream. We will be back for a part 2 if it's necessary. But thank you guys for watching. And just my last thing is just be a goldfish. Just be a goldfish. Just keep on swimming. And in 5 seconds that you remember that one thing you're going through, the next 5 seconds you're gonna forget about it. So thank you guys for always watching. Thank you guys for always listening in. We are going to start doing live streams more and more. We're going to start going live on TikTok. We're going to start going live on YouTube. I'm super excited. This is the 5th episode. We are 2 episodes away from the end of the season. Season 2 will start up in September. Because I'm getting married in the last week of August. Let's go.
Let's go.
So I'm going to take my little week vacation off from doing the show. But we'll be back in September. This is episode 5. Thank you guys for watching. And we'll be right back if we need to be. Bye. There we go, brother. That was awesome.